Hello there guys, and welcome back to my second episode of Ghostbusters The Ritual. And today we're going to be talking about my favourite in the franchise, Ghostbusters 2. Today on the DVD reviews. Welcome back guys. So at the very beginning of this movie you hear this sound, which then goes on to the words 5 years later. And at the year of this movie released, I was actually 5 years old, as I was born 5 years earlier, back when the original 1984 film was released. And so yeah, and the first thing you see is a crack in the floor, in the concrete of the floor, and pink slime seeping through it. And then you see a wheel of a baby carriage going through the slime, and you see straight off the bat that it's Dana Barrett with her baby Oscar. And it's actually the slime that actually makes the carriage go plummeting down the street on its own, where people try to stop it, and it goes to the very end of the street, and as a bus goes shooting past, it plummets. It comes to an abrupt stop, and then the Ghostbusters theme tune comes up, and then it goes on to Ray and Winston in the Ecto-1. That are, the business is currently out of business, and they are doing birthday parties to, get a bit of money. Peter Venkman, played by Bill Murray, is doing a TV show called World of the Psychic. And Ray also has a bookstore called Ray's Occult Books, which also actually appears in the Ghostbusters graphic novels, which is pretty cool. And Dana asks Egon to help her with her situation, which caused her baby, in the carriage to go off on its own. And he asks Ray to help him. But then when they're in the Ray's Occult Book store, Peter demands to find out who is the one that asked for their help. And so Peter pulls on Ray's ears, where he demands to hear the name Dana Barrett. And so Peter then, wants to help out as well. And so they go to examine the baby, and go to examine the area where the carriage stopped in the middle of the street. In this film, they use a different a meter called the Geiger meter, which is used by Egon. And so in this one, Dan Aykroyd, Ray Stantz uses the PKE meter, and they find that something is brewing under the street. So in the next scene, Ray has to go down to find out what it is, and to their surprise, it's a river of slime that actually is leading to the Museum of Art where Dana works, and to the portrait of Vigo. Anyway, the Ghostbusters get arrested, and this leads on to one of my absolute favourite scenes in the movie, which is the courtroom scene, which Harris Yulin plays the judge, who also appeared in Being the Movie, along with Peter MacNicol, who's also in this movie, who also starred in Being the Movie as well. This is my particular favourite scene in the film, where the judge starts to raise his voice, and there's a jar of slime that starts to bubble, and the higher the voice goes, the more mad the jar of slime goes, and eventually 2 ghosts came out of it, and it was the Scoleri brothers that he sentenced to death. and they came back to get their revenge on the judge. And so the judge has to dismiss their case, and he demands them for their help, and he puts on their packs, on their suits, mind you, because they're in court, so they've got their, their Ghostbusters overalls on, or their flight suits. They got to put their proton packs and stuff over the top of like their business suits, which is quite funny. So like on top of their normal clothing. And so they are back in business. They capture the Scoleri brothers, and then it goes on to a montage scene of them being back, fully, and capturing ghosts again. And fantastic stuff there. And the courtroom was my favourite scene of the entire film, because I used to try and imitate this as a kid with my old Kenner Real Ghostbusters line proton pack toy, on a table, and I was trying to imitate the scene as they go back into business and catch the Scoleri brothers. And the sequel is just, I don't know why it's my favourite one up to the first movie. Maybe it touched me in a much more special way. But I love the museum setting, the setting where Vigo is. And it's just an all-round fun film. The whole thing with the river of slime leading to the museum, and where Ray, Winston and Egon go down under the sewer system to try and look for the source of the flow. Winston tries to measure the slime, and it ends up pulling him in. And then the other two Ghostbusters, Ray and Egon, jump in after their friend to try and save him. Which then they come to a manhole cover, which is right outside the Custom House, or in this movie, the Manhattan Museum of Art. In real life, it's called the Museum of the American Indian, or something like that. Because it's not really called the Manhattan Museum of Art, because that doesn't exist, only in the movie. But they come out of the sewer system, dripping with slime. They got to strip off down to their underwear, because the slime is infecting their mind, and they come right outside the Museum of Art, right where Vigo is, and it's just a whole lot of fun. I like how the people might say that the ending of this film is a take off from the first movie, where you've got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, like a big thing walking down the street, and you have in this film the Statue of Liberty doing that. So people might think they're copying the first film, but I think it's as good as that. So absolutely one of my favourite films of all time, and it still remains that way. And here is the Blu-ray disc. I love these Blu-ray steelbook. And this back there, and there's the back, the original artwork, and there's the inside of it just there. Pretty cool stuff. Back onto discussing the courtroom scene. Back when I was a kid and I was imitating the scene with the Scoleri brothers, I wanted to try and copy where they were, where the slime was bubbling. So because I couldn't find the right kind of colour liquid, I actually put washing up liquid into a bowl and blew through it with a straw. And instead of blowing, I actually inhaled it. I drank the washing up liquids. There's the washing up liquid and water that I mixed together for imitating the slime, and I actually drank it by accident. Which was at the time not very funny for me, but it was funny afterwards. But yeah, so that was how much I thoroughly enjoyed this scene. And I enjoyed the outcome at the end of this, when of course the Statue of Liberty is walking through the city, and you've got the four Ghostbusters and the crown, and of course it uses its torch to go through the roof of the museum, where the Ghostbusters then come down and Vinkman says, "Happy New Year!" And then Vigo comes out of the painting and they basically save the day and destroy him, or send him back through the image, and then the portrait of Vigo actually turns into the 4 Ghostbusters at the end with baby Oscar, which I found was pretty interesting. But this was the Ghostbusters The Ritual for the second film. So next time it is going to be, it might be a shorter video because I may not have much to say about this particular one, but it will be the Ghostbusters 2016 edition, which is just here in a steelbook version. So that'll be next time. Then after that one will be the Ghost Heads documentary, just there. But until those guys, goodbye, thank you for watching, and take care for now.